you again, everyone, for joining us. We are very excited to talk about our new Archibus Healthcare package. Before we get started, I do have a few housekeeping items. First, everyone is on mute, but if you have a question, please feel free to enter it into the questions or the chat section, and we will get to those at the end of the presentation. We are also recording this, and we will send out the recording either later today or probably tomorrow. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Fred Krause, who is going to take you through our new offering.
Thanks, Danielle, and hello, everyone. I'm Fred Krause. I'm on the product team at Archibus, and really excited to walk you through what we've been working on in a healthcare specific offering. I wanted to just turn my camera on to say hi, but in the interest of making sure that the presentation runs smoothly, I will turn my camera off for now so you can listen to what I have to say without distraction. So we're going to be talking about the new offering that we've been working on developing specifically for healthcare facilities. As an overview, and I'll continue to talk about these themes while presenting it to you. Themes around enabling effective patient care, optimizing maintenance operations, complying with country and local regulations in order to reduce risk, and really tracking and tracking space attributes that are important to healthcare facilities and making the best use of space. I heard an expression the other day about heads on beds. Really, in relation to healthcare, it's very important in a healthcare facility to make sure that operations are running smoothly and that patients have access to the beds that they need in order to be treated. And it's very difficult sometimes for critical maintenance and critical assets to be maintained while making sure that rooms can turn over quickly and really ensure effective patient care. So those are the themes that we've learned and we've tried to accommodate in a healthcare specific offering. So what I mentioned here, it's a complete IWMS package. It combines elements, I'll mention this again too, of space, of assets and maintenance and compliance, and putting those together to help do those things, optimizing the maintenance operations, making the best use of space, making good decisions with space, providing a holistic view of this facility, and I'll mention balancing a lot too, balancing access limitations with patients, with hazard material risks, and with zones of care. Lots of things to consider when we think about what the healthcare facility really needs to think about on a daily basis. So I'll get a little bit more into detail about what we've heard from the lens or perspective of two roles, the facility manager and the compliance manager, and again, really kind of talk about the balance that they have to strike. The facility manager needing to balance critical maintenance activities with that access to space to ensure that things are operating smoothly and again, patients have access to the rooms that they need and when they need them, while making sure that the assets are being maintained properly. And I also mentioned responding to inspection-related questions as they come up. Obviously, compliance and inspections is critical to a successful operating of a facility, of a healthcare facility, and that's where the compliance manager comes in. And they really also need to balance the hard work of overseeing deficiency remediations with maintaining that compliance for the important accreditations that they have to proactively make sure that they comply with. Obviously, if accreditations are missed or are behind, then the organization certainly can suffer cost issues and of course other risks associated with that. So really about resolving those deficiencies when they find them, successfully resolving them, and also making sure that they are maintaining compliance to the best of their ability. So the healthcare package, as I mentioned, is bringing those aspects of space, of assets and maintenance together to ensure an operational effectiveness and compliance management. So we talk about an integrated graphical facilities platform, tracking and reporting healthcare specific attributes. I'll talk about that a lot more actually with a short video that I'll show about all of the attributes, space-related attributes that are important to healthcare facilities that this package will track, responding to inspections and personalizing those attributes to make sure that they are what the facility needs to track. And those vary, of course, in order to comply with local regulations and different regulations throughout the world. What's in it for you? So bringing what I've mentioned together, this really kind of puts it into the perspective of the savings that we intend to deliver to the healthcare facility and the revenue that on the other side of the equation, that the revenue that the facility needs to maintain in order to operate well. So in terms of savings, we really talk about the operational efficiency or effectiveness, and that's in maintenance operations, making sure that those run smoothly to maintain or reduce operational costs. I mentioned complying with regulations, saving on compliance-related costs, and lowering the risks of fines. On the revenue side, I mentioned the use of space and making sure that spaces are being utilized and patients can actually have access to the space they need when they need it to make sure that those really expensive space resources are being used by patients when they need it, and that kind of translates to the ability to offer great patient care. If the maintenance operations are handled effectively and that's balanced, or that can be done in a timely manner when rooms are free, and then ready for rooms when they need to be used, then that's the best way that we can ensure that we can ensure good patient care. And of course, that comes with better satisfaction and um, and uh, and use of the space for the healthcare facility revenue. And of course, you know, in the year that we've all experienced, and with hospitals, healthcare facilities running really at near full capacity over that year because of the pandemic, these just become even more important. Hospitals have been overwhelmed, and that maintenance side becomes critical, as well as making sure that patients get access to the care they need. So those were uh, the basic overview of what we're doing, who we're doing it for, and what value we intend to deliver with it. For the next part of the discussion, I'll talk about the product in a little bit more detail. So the healthcare product is really made up of two specific healthcare specific views, along with a package that includes standard Archibus space and maintenance and assets. So the homepage is a link to the important metrics and alerts that the facility manager may need to see right off the bat to do their job, and also shortcuts to key tasks and reports from there. And then we've been working on a facilities console that really takes that that has this healthcare specific look, visual look at the facility, where they can visually track and report on space and regulatory attributes, um, and really healthcare specific space information, um, combined with maintenance schedules and maintenance work. So where the work is located in the facility, checklists for inspections and actions to remediate anything that needs to be remediated from those compliance checklists, and assets, including firewalls and doors, those locations, and being able to identify where they are. A lot of that is made possible, actually, the healthcare specific and asset specific fields are by user-defined fields, which we actually introduced to the base product in, I believe, 25.3. So this is a package that's being built on more of Archibus, which is the latest released version. And as I mentioned, includes space maintenance performance metrics framework, plus those healthcare specific views, the facility console and the dashboard, and optionally also can in that package. The homepage, so this is a snapshot of what we would like the homepage to look like. And again, it's the ability to the first look at the most important facility maintenance and compliance metrics, where we've asked customers and partners what's most important. Of course, this is configurable, but things like open and overdue work requests, completion percentage, the number of deficiencies, access availability for rooms, bed count or capacity of beds, licensed bed in rooms, and where you can navigate to other views such as the facility and the space and maintenance consoles. So I'll dive a little bit deep facility console, where we're going to allow the facility manager or the compliance manager to track healthcare specific attributes. And really, just to name a few, they're here. I won't list them all, but room pressure tends to be a very important one for compliance. Occupancy room flag or occupancy status of rooms. Secure rooms, licensed beds, I mentioned the bed count of rooms or the capacity of rooms in terms of beds, biomedical waste locations, and where all that can be visualized in the healthcare facility floor plans, where also we can look at bringing together not just the space elements, but the maintenance elements too. So show where the maintenance work is, where the compliance regulations are, or where the compliance checklists or inspections are, and where deficiencies are located. And again, bringing that all together into one holistic view. Highlights are important, so visually reporting on such attributes as pressure. The National Fire Protection Association, which is a US specific or I think it's agency or association for fire protection, which is obviously very important, fire zones in hospitals, room functions and occupancy types. Again, also being able to report or highlight on corrective and preventive maintenance work and where deficiencies are. The ability to also display fire and safety assets on the floor plan and be able to actually move them around, drag and drop them to different locations to make sure that the visual representation, it reflects the reality of the situation. And of course, being able to export all of that where to reports when you need to take the information with you. Some examples of highlights, and I actually will show this in a video that my colleague, I should have introduced him before, Octavian Vlad, my colleague in the product group, has been working actually very hard and specifically on this package, and he's helped actually put together this presentation, and the video I'll show in a little bit. But being able to highlight by and report on room pressure, to easily answer questions from regulatory bodies such as the Joint Commission. Joint Commission is an important regulatory body in the United States, and I'm sure there are equivalents in countries throughout the world. Access to work, so to be the ability to highlight and see accessible rooms and work pending in order to, again, plan and optimize that maintenance work. So I want to be able to see when I can get into rooms, plan the routes, and get the work taken care of that needs to be taken care of in order for the facility to run optimally. And with that, I'll just show this brief demonstration of all of that in the facility console. So here's a view of it in what we're building now. And this is an example of a healthcare a facility floor plan. And notice all of the specific healthcare specific highlights that that this can show. So, for example, this is in room pressure types, where you can report on negative, neutral, or positive pressure rooms. And of course, the user can adjust the colors and the presentation of that pressure. Over on the left-hand side, you can see that those are the different categories that can be adjusted or expanded, and the ability to also adjust the colors of each as well, so that operating rooms are kept at positive pressure. Other rooms, such as waiting rooms, are kept at negative pressure. Very important also to be able to maintain and even switch those pressures when appropriate. Another big one is fire protection. Most rooms should have partial or fully enabled with sprinklers, and that's something that is really important in many regulatory environments to be able to report on. Occupancy types. Again, these are specific to the healthcare world, where we can report on healthcare or business or ambulatory areas. I mentioned licensed beds before, so being able to define and report on the quantity of beds in each room. And the list goes on. I think I will might take it to a little bit farther. Secured rooms. So these are all adjustable, but again, good healthcare specific, especially for reporting to regulatory bodies. I think next we'll get into zones of care as well. So what we've heard, of course, in the healthcare world, important to really define and define and report on those zones. So whether it's entities that are published on the floor plan that we can show by turning on and off the assets, the asset background layers, or even defining those rooms in the zones. There's ways that Archibus can help manage and report on those zones of care. And I believe next we'll go into some of the tabs along the left-hand portion that really bring, as I mentioned before, um, uh, the space side with the maintenance side together. So here on the maintenance tab, the ability to see what's going on the floor with respect to open work. And here the highlights can match what we're seeing in terms of work that's open or being performed on the floor. So here we have some work that's issued, some work that's on hold, and the locations of those the locations of that work. And as you adjust, perhaps at the left-hand side, the right-hand side, the highlights will accommodate. So if you want to just see, for example, work that's on hold, you can zone it. You can hone in on that work and see the details here. So we've also expanded the ability to see room-specific detail, the maintenance that's in that room, pressure attributes, for example, any compliance deficiencies. So all of that is available in different ways, but bringing that information together, again, going back to the point of that is being able to optimize those maintenance operations, visually seeing what's going on, enabling that compliance with regulations, both at the country, region, or local level, tracking and making best use of the space to make sure that, again, the facility is being able to optimally offer effective patient care. So that's what we've been working on. We are aiming to have this being generally available to users in June of this year. So we're working hard on getting this, rounding out the solution, making it full featured and tested, and for delivery for June. And certainly we don't stop at version 1. We will continue with making it even better with other considerations for future versions, such as additional life and safety floor plan highlights, portfolio performance overview for healthcare organizations, more specifics or more management in terms of the holistic asset picture, assets and systems, and templates for both maintenance checklists or compliance. Lots of ways that we can help, at least with the burden of data data delivery or data management with templates in terms of ones that are standard regulation that we can put into the system and offer to make that to make getting up and running even easier. And that's I think with that, wanted to just thanks for allowing me to walk through what we're aiming to do. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions. I'm not sure if Octavian's also here, but he can maybe join me with answering some questions if you have them.
All right, thank you so much, Fred. We do have a couple of questions. The first one is, how do you automate all of this? Some integration with IoT?
Oh, okay. So good point. One of the things that I did show maybe in the highlights about that would be a good integration with IoT, and I think that would be something that we would have. We would work with our partners to deliver, or our partners would actually work with an IoT vendor to deliver, but that wouldn't be an out-of-the-box feature, but something that we can deliver in partnership with an IoT vendor for sure. And that would be around, I think what I mentioned, what I showed is being able to show rooms if they are being occupied or not. And certainly that's an area that if you're looking at the room flag, or you want to make sure that you want to see where that access is, a lot of times the floor nurse has a system that does that we could integrate with to get that information. Hopefully that makes sense.
Great, thank you. Another question, is this a cloud-based platform?
Yes, so we are planning to offer this as a SaaS-based solution.
Perfect, thank you. A couple more came in. How can BIM integrate with Archibus?
That is a I would say a separate effort that we're working to even make better with than our current BIM integration, and offer that as I think that's part of one of the points I made about what's next in terms of where I think that fits in is overall asset and system management in healthcare. Archibus does integrate with Autodesk Revit now as a direct integration, being able to catalog assets and rooms and publish drawings right from BIM. So if you're not familiar with that, that's what we do already offer that. There's another effort that we'd love in future versions of healthcare to incorporate in and that is a 3D visualization of rooms and assets within the healthcare facility.
Great, thank you. And it looks like maybe the last question here, and this is probably something that I can answer, but how do we get more information? So as I mentioned, we are recording this webinar. We will be sending out the recording probably tomorrow, as I mentioned earlier, and we will also be including a brochure that has a little bit more detail for you. And then of course, as we get closer to that June general availability date, we will be communicating all of the details with you on that. Another question that came in, will this be available with the new on-prem version, or can it be attached to existing versions?
We're primarily offering this as a SaaS package, but we can, if there's existing obviously on-prem version of Archibus, we can talk with you or with business partners about how to make that available on-prem as well.
Great, thank you. One other question just came through. Is there additional cost on top of the modules for this package?
Yes, we are working on the pricing still. We're working on pricing. We don't have that to share right now, but it would be a package price that includes, as I mentioned, the standard modules, space and maintenance, and the foundations or home pages, and then the healthcare specific parts of it, such as the facilities console.
Great, thank you. All right, I think that is all we have. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you, Fred, for walking us through this new package. Hopefully everyone finds it as exciting as we do. And again, we will be communicating as we get closer to that general availability date.
Great. Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for your attention. Appreciate it.
Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.